Hello everyone, my name is Ali Reza. I'm a PhD student of University of Ottawa. Today I gonna present how to specify execution time contractual operations such as subcontracting, assignment, and substitution by Symboleo specification language that is developed recently in our laboratory. Contract is a binding document between two or more parties. This enforceable agreement contains a set of obligations and powers. Obligation is a commitment of a party against a counterparty. For example, in a sales of goods contract, a seller must deliver an order before a confirmed deadline. Power, however, is a set of rights. For example, the buyer has a power to terminate a sales contract if the seller violates delivery obligation. Lawyers are always interested to automatically verify a legal contract to ensure a contract considers both parties' intention and is valid and free of bug. Verification is critical because a bad contract might be void at the beginning or during the performance of a contract. Business owners, as another stakeholders, are also interested to monitor the execution of a contract to make sure that the counterparty is acting in line with the agreement. Complexity of legal contracts are a barrier for reaching these wishes. Powers and execution time operations such as subcontracting, right assignment, and substitution dynamically manipulate a contract and so complicate verification of contracts. Symboleo offers a language which logically specifies legal contracts and establishes contract monitoring, compliance checking, and verification. We implemented this language in our laboratory and we extended it in this paper. Briefly, in this paper, we we have specified execution time operations like subcontracting in Symboleo. We developed a compliance checking tool that includes reasoning with subcontract, substitution, and assignment, and also we evaluated our proposal using a realistic series of good and fake contract. The basis of Symboleo is a legal ontology which shows essential concepts and relationships. It's a roadmap for syntax and semantics of Symboleo. As Symboleo's ontology shows, a legal contract is a collection of obligations and powers between two or more roles. A contract is concerned with at least one asset, like money or goods, from each contractual role, like seller or buyer. Roles are assigned to parties that participate in the contract execution. A legal position is either an obligation or a power that defines a legal relationship between a debtor and a creditor. I skip other relationships and concepts. You can look at our recent published paper for details. Symboleo captures the life cycle of a contract, obligation, or power by these state machines. For example, a contract is initially in its form state and transitions to the in effect state when it is signed and its effective date is reached. These state machines are somehow related together. For example, if a contract is suspended, all active obligations are suspended as well. All explicit and implicit semantics of transitions are formally specified through 27 axioms. In this paper, we have extended the original Symboleo ontology with such relationships defined between party and legal position, liability, right, and performance of any obligation and power are always given to multiple parties. At the beginning of a contract, debtor of an obligation is liable and performer of the obligation, while the creditor holds its right. For powers, however, the creditor is performer. For example, suppose the buyer has a power to terminate a contract. The buyer is right holder and she can perform the power. These three positions may dynamically be unassigned from or assigned to parties by execution time operations. The most notable types of operations are subcontracting, substitution, and assignment. By assignment, a party can assign the right that she has to a third party. By substitution, a party leaves an ongoing contract and have a third party replace her in the contract. Subcontracting shares performance of a set of obligations with one or more other parties through subcontracts. The actions underlying these operations are categorized as sharing or transferring right, responsibility, or performance of parties. For example, assignment transfers right to the new third party. Substitution transfers our right, liabilities, and performance to a third party, and subcontracting shares performance with a third party. We have defined 6 primitive contract execution time operations. These operations are initiated by an event with a corresponding name such as shared R. These two axioms specify the right assignment. In the first axiom, assign R is an event which indicates all party assigned right of obligation or power X to a new party. So the first assignment says if a party holds right of the norm X and assigns the right to a new party, then event transferred R is triggered. The second axiom completes the assignment operation. It says if event transferred R is raised while norm X is active, then the new party is right holder and the assigner is no longer the right holder. Similarly, the other operations are described by the proposed primitive operations. A party can subcontract a set of obligations through at least one subcontract. Sometimes performance delegation is restricted. For example, a carrier is an eligible performer if the good is ready for pickup. The top axiom says if an obligation is subcontracted to a subcontractor PA, then event share P is triggered. The below axiom catches the shared P event and adds the subcontractor to the list of obligation performer. We developed an analysis tool that takes as input a set of scenarios aligned with the expected final states of the contract for each scenario and actually runs each scenario to validate that the contract ends in the expected final state. Each scenario is a sequence of events. The tool gets Symboleo axioms, contract specification, and sequence of events as input and reason about states of norms and contracts. We designed 6 scenarios and corresponding test cases combining the sales of good and freight contract. Here, the delivery obligation is subcontracted to a carrier through a freight contract. All tests involve meet sales between a seller in Argentina and a buyer in Ottawa, with freight subcontracting to a carrier. These test cases cover many possible states of obligations, powers, and contracts, especially boundaries cases. The last column shows expected states of fake and states of good contract after execution of the test case. V, FU, and etc. are abbreviations for violation, fulfillment, and other states of norms and contracts. For example, V1 in the freight column means the first clause of the freight contract must be violated if the corresponding test scenario is executed. The tool executed test cases and resulted life cycle of norms and contracts in this chart. The vertical axis shows the states of the contract and their clauses. The horizontal axis characterizes events over time. Since the result indicates that the execution of this test comply with expected result, it partially violates it partially validates Symboleo axioms and or new subcontracting and substitution operations. Thank you for taking time and your attention.